Embroidery hoops are round, right? Well, yeah, but are they perfectly round? Actually they're not. And because they're not, at some point you might end up with little gaps in between your inner and outer parts. Stretch your fabric in one of those hoops and it won't hold, of course. However, there is a very easy and genius because I came up with it, of course. There's a very simple fix for that. Embroidery quick tips. This is a brand new Nurge hoop. As you can see, it's high quality and it doesn't show any gaps between the hoop parts. And this one, I've fiddled with in the past. If you look closely, you will see some gaps. These kind of gaps will cause problems no matter how small, because the fabric can only be held in place by this hoop tightly if the two parts are solid and fit together tightly. And to help you understand why this brand new one doesn't have any gaps, but the used one does, you need to understand how these are made in the first place. Well, not in detail, of course. The key principle is that these wooden rings are molded together under high pressure. So straight out of the box, the two parts fit incredibly well together. But remember, these aren't actually perfectly circular. So if we break this perfect fit, say by turning the inner hoop 45 degrees one way, this is what happens. They no longer fit together perfectly. We now can see some gaps in between the parts. So before you use your hoop for the very first time, this is the simplest trick. Just draw a little line on the back of the hoop crossing both parts using a pencil. Then when setting up your hoop with fabric, every time after, make sure the line is intact. It's actually easier to see if you draw it on the back. If the line is not intact, it's worth starting over and making sure it is. It is a very, very simple trick, yet the impact it has is immense. Remember though, this trick will only work if your hoop doesn't have any gaps in the first place. Generally, higher quality hoops will be much better at being perfect straight out of the box. Now, if your hoop is not brand new, you've used it a bunch of times, and you know that it didn't have any gaps when you first got it, but now it does, you can still fix the situation, okay? You can still do it. It will just require a bit of fiddling about. All you need to do is, before you draw that line, you need to find the perfect fit. You can do that by loosening your hoop and turning the inner part little by little until you find the perfect fit. Only then you should draw the line. This drawn line of ours is essentially just a reference points for us to tell how these two hoop parts fit together best. Hello, what are you doing? Get off the desk. Thank you. Check out my last video to learn which types of hoops are awesome and which you should avoid. I'll go through a whole bunch of them in there. See ya.